So Abel's playing soccer for the first time this year. And I obviously have done all of the emotional and mental labor of finding him shin guards and making sure that he has cleats that fit and making sure he has socks. And like, it hasn't just been like the straightforward, like, I'm going to go to Dick's Sporting Goods and drop like $1 billion on it. I've been like trying to like find deals because obviously he's going to outgrow them before next year. So, like, Facebook Marketplace and whatever else. So I'm like, buddy, let's practice your soccer outfit. So we put them on. My interoceptive child, because the thickness of the socks are different, he can feel a difference in the inside sole of his cleat, and he's flipping out. He's like, this is why I can't play soccer. This is why I didn't play soccer last year, which is fully not true. You can't play until you're in first grade. He It's like, I need you to get rid of that bump in my cleat. And I was like, buddy, it's part of the cleat. It's always been there. And he's worn his cleats before, just not with these socks. So I'm like, I think that you probably need a thicker sock, right? So I'm trying to stay really calm and regulated, but there's part of me inside that's like, I did all the work to find all this equipment for soccer, and I signed you up and I paid for it, and I'm the one who's going to be bringing you to practice. And you're out here throwing an absolute fit about a tiny microscopic bump in the inside of your cleat. That's what part of my internal narrative was. So I was just like,
It's
I
like,
don't
suck it up,
want to,
deal with the bump. Yeah.
like, are you
100%.
kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? But I have to remember, and if I ask the app what to do, it would remind me that Abel has a sensitive interoceptive system. And so that tiny little bump that I can barely feel with my finger feels like a rock to him. Anyway, we figured it out together. We discovered that thicker socks were the key. We got the thicker socks. He requested different shin guards, which, okay, yep, if that's what it takes for you to be able to play soccer, I'll buy you another pair of shin guards. The real test will be tomorrow when it's actual practice, which happens after school when he's dysregulated.
Yeah, it's tough.
Will the thick socks be enough? Only time will tell. But when she expressed what she was feeling in the moment, when she had like done the prep to get these tights and like been saving
Totally.
them, and then there was the whole and that internal experience of like, man, I do so much for you and you make things really difficult sometimes.
Yeah. And like in my childhood, no one was going to get me a different pair of socks or slow down and help figure it out. Like, come on, you got the socks. You're lucky we got the socks. Be grateful that we've come this far. Like,
There's
all
nothing to
of
be
that.
upset about, would have been this isn't something to
Yeah.
get upset about. You don't need to get upset about this. I didn't say that out loud, but I did say, Abel, if you just wear them for a while, you'll probably get used to it. No. In the history of him being interoceptively sensitive, has he ever gotten used to something like that? No, 0 times. But for some reason, this time I was like, let me see if I can just
It'll
gaslight
be
him
different this
into
time. Yeah. Gaslight him into it. We had friends over this past weekend and they have a kiddo who is high sensory seeking and high connection seeking. And then they have a kid who is sensory sensitive and predominantly goes into fight mode when their sensory sensitive one's dysregulated. And it had rained like all day long. And so I said, hey, if you want to bring rain suits or whatever, Seiji's probably going to even want to play in the rain. And so Seiji and the high sensory seeker were playing. They're like a month apart. They're off playing. The sensory sensitive kid's a few months older than Beans and had gotten her clothes wet. She didn't want to wear a rain suit. She doesn't like how it feels. And then gotten her clothes wet and immediately had to come in and change. And Zach was like, we'll throw them in the dryer or whatever. I was still outside with the kids. And then I come in and she's just naked in my house. And I was like, would you like some like cozy clothes to wear? And she was like, yeah. And so we have, bins of clothes from our kids and pulled out some jammies that she was super stoked about. Then all the kids were going back outside after we ate dinner and she wanted to go out and you could see this. And she was like, walked out in her pajamas. And then she was like on my back deck, like wrestling with like, what do I do? And she said, Lissa, I need a swimsuit. And it's like 60 degrees maybe. And I was like, tell me more about this swimsuit. And she was like, I don't want to get the jammies wet and I want to play outside and I need a swimsuit. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, I'm happy to get you a swimsuit. Yeah, it's wet outside. The clothes you are used to wearing when they're wet are swim clothes. I'll get you a swimsuit."
Mhm.
And she played in that swimsuit outside until they left for hours, just, like, happily, whereas before she had gotten wet and was immediately inside to
To
play
change.
inside because she didn't want to be in wet clothes. And they were
Totally.
like, "How do we get her used to being in wet clothes?" And I was like, "Oh, I wanna ask a different question, actually.
Yeah.
How do we find things that she can be comfortable in to access the activity?" And today, that was a swimsuit.
And, like, her own wheels turning to I'm sure she's thinking
Brilliant.
in her head, she's like, "Okay, the rain suit is a no for me, I can't tolerate it. I already got my other clothes wet, I can't stand how that feels." And she went through and was like, "What could work?" and landed on a swimsuit. Like, that's really amazing problem
So
solving.
smart. So smart. And that's what I told her. I was like, "That was a great idea." And I told them, I was like, "She figured this one out all on her own."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "All I had to do was provide the swimsuit." And she was happy as a clam.
Yeah, and it does take that slowing down, right? Because in my childhood, first of all, we didn't even have rain suits, okay? We had a raincoat,
100%. You were
and
just wet,
you were just wet,
soggy.
your pants were gonna get wet, your sneakers were gonna get wet, and if you don't want your top of your body to get wet, you wear your raincoat,
Yeah,
and that's the end of the discussion. Like, "What more do you want from me?" Right? So that
yeah.
part comes up for me in the moment of like, "What more do you want from me?" Okay? I have done everything for you. But when we can, just take a minute, just a
Mhm.
beat of like with the thin socks, like, is this a hill I'm gonna die on? Like, am I do I really want to, like, battle with my kid because I don't feel like going and finding another pair of socks?
But I think about, like, what's uncomfortable for me, right? Like, I don't like to wear wool because it's itchy. If I had a wool sweater on that was itching my neck the whole time, I would not be able to function as a human. I would get so annoyed and then just so annoyed with everyone around me, and it was all because I had a wool sweater on.
But what
And if
if
I
I
just
said,
removed
"Just wear it longer until you get used to it, then would it be fine?"
yeah, then I'd throat punch you because, no, I'm never gonna get used to this, right? But it's that, it's the being able to slow down.
Mhm.
That is so key, and it is that so many of us did not have parents that had the capacity or the understanding of the nervous system in the way that we do now to be able to slow down and say, "Okay, if I believe you that this is uncomfortable for you, and I wanna help you figure out something that's going to work for you."